starts now.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Amy Catcher.
And I'm John Mercer. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, a bizarre shooting happened today in the Brainerd Walmart parking lot.
Now, it started with a stolen vehicle and ended with the victim shooting at the suspect. WDEF News House Jillian Pavlica joins us live with the details in tonight's top local story. Jillian?
It all happened around 1 o'clock this afternoon in the parking lot of the Brainerd Walmart. The victim fired shots at the man who stole his car, but the suspect still managed to get away. About 5 cars remain in the Brainerd Walmart parking lot, unable to move. They're part of a crime scene after a car is stolen and multiple shots fired.
The victim, who is a permit carrier, ended up pulling his handgun out and shot several rounds at the suspect.
The victim left his keys on a counter inside the store. A man found them, located the truck in the parking lot, then sped off. The victim fired shots at the thief. Even though the victim has a gun permit, officials are also investigating why shots were fired.
Again, that's still under investigation. The justification of why he shot at him, I can't release any details on that.
Officer Nathan Hartwig says Tennessee law has specific guidelines as to when someone can shoot.
We're aware of has been shot. We don't know if the suspect was injured because we haven't located him yet. But no one in the parking lot was injured and none of the vehicles here were shot.
The suspect fled in the victim's silver 2010 Ford F-150. He's described as a white male with dark hair and wearing a black t-shirt with the letter T on it. Also, a possible second female suspect was seen wearing a red shirt with the Sesame Street character Elmo on it.
You have a right to use deadly force if you feel that there's a threat of or imminent threat of serious bodily injury to yourself or another person, or death to yourself or another person.
Now, investigators are working to get video from Walmart. We're hoping to receive video or pictures soon. Live in the studio, Jillian Pavlica, WDEF News 12.
Thanks, Jillian. The Freedom from Religion Foundation responds to Walker County Schools this evening about prayer at their football games. The group says they're pleased with Walker County's response that Coach Mark Mariakis won't lead prayers and other changes in line with the Constitution. But the group cites Saturday's rally to pray. They say Ridgeland High School football coach Mariakis says that he prayed inappropriately. They're also expecting a response from the school system about using the Bible as a motivational tool.
A Hamilton County jury finds Miles Stout not guilty of second-degree murder, but guilty of reckless homicide. It took less than 2 hours to reach that verdict. Stout confessed to accidentally shooting Miles Compton in March of last year, but he said he didn't realize the gun was loaded. Stout's lawyers say the state never proved otherwise.
There was minimal proof through one witness who had a dream about it that Mr. Stout somehow racked the clip or racked the slide on the gun. Nobody else saw that. That witness didn't say anything about that in her first 2 statements. Then she called one of the detectives and said, "I had a dream. This is what happened," and that's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm glad the jury saw that.
Now, we couldn't reach the prosecution for comment. Stout will be sentenced November 5th. He faces a 2 to 4 years in jail or a possible probationary sentence. Hamilton County deputies search for Robert Lee Neal. He escaped from a jail work detail yesterday. They were mowing grass around Sequoia Vocational Technical Center. Neal was seen leaving the area in a maroon vehicle. He has a lengthy arrest history and was in jail on numerous charges like theft, drugs, and vandalism. Now he faces escape as well. If you've seen him, contact the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office.
A federal grand jury in Chattanooga returned indictments against 4 people, including a medical doctor. The charges allege the 4 were involved in the distribution of controlled substances, and they were disguising their illegal activity as pain clinics. 58-year-old Dr. Jerome Allen Sherrard of Hickson operated the Sherrard Clinic. It was a pain management clinic at 3rd and Holtzclaw, and it was open until June. 58-year-old Barbara Lang of Rossville owned and operated the Superior One Medical Clinic. She also went by the name Langford. And 64-year-old Charles Larmore of Chattanooga also operated a pain clinic. The 4th person involved in the case is from Texas. Authorities say the 4 illegally sold oxycoden, methadone, and other prescription drugs. They were sometimes resold.
Maybe sometimes 10, 15, 20 a piece, depending on what you have. And so you can turn a prescription for 60, 80 pills into an enormous profit margin.
If they're convicted, they face $1 million fines and up to 20 years in jail for each drug sale count. We're going to have more on that story coming up tonight on Prime News at 7. A Fort Oglethorpe man's in the Augusta burn ward tonight. That's after police say his meth lab exploded early this morning. He now has second and third degree burns on his body. WDEF News 12's Alicia Searle has the latest.
Kenneth Dodd has lived near Winifred Drive for almost 3 decades and says never before has he seen this.
Surprised me.
The remnants of a meth lab explosion.
Never had to deal with anything like this before.
Around 3 Tuesday morning, Fort Oglethorpe police say they got a call from a local hospital saying 37-year-old Barry Cook was there with suspicious-looking burns.
The officers that initially responded had detected an odor that we associate with methamphetamine manufacturing.
Police say the smell came from this travel trailer. They believe Cook mixed Sudafed and Coleman fuel oil along with several other ingredients.
Fumes from the process itself had gathered up inside that small area, and he had had an open flame with him of some type.
Officers on scene say they're surprised the whole trailer didn't go up in flames.
I mean, there's absolutely no reason that the trailer itself didn't burn down.
And there were children just feet away inside the home where the trailer was parked, but no one else was hurt, just Cook with second and third degree burns on his arms, legs, and face.
I believe that family at this residence has been trying to help, taking advantage of that.
Police say for the last couple of weeks, Cook's father has allowed him to stay here. His plan, we're told, was to prove himself at his new job, check into rehab, and then continue his employment. No word on if that will happen, but right now, charges are pending.
Made a mistake now that it's going to be difficult to recover from.
In Catoosa County, Alicia Searle, WDEF News 12.
Police say charges will probably include manufacturing methamphetamine. As for the trailer, it's still there. City Codes Enforcement will decide what needs to be done with it. A truck crash inside the East Ridge Tunnel this afternoon really backed up traffic. It flipped onto its side in the middle of the westbound tunnel heading towards Chattanooga. There were no major injuries, but it did take about an hour to clean up. A company that makes synthetic fibers for furniture, medical devices, and pillows will remain in Walker County. United Synthetics had considered moving its operations to a sister plant in South Carolina, but instead, Commissioner Beebe Highschool says the company will spend $3 million to add new equipment and warehouse space in Lafayette. United Synthetics employs about 60 workers.
Well, today marks the 11th anniversary of 9/11, and here in Chattanooga, students at several local schools showed their patriotic pride to mark that tragedy. In East Ridge, the JROTC Pioneers Battalion held a flag ceremony at 8:46. That's the time the first plane struck the Twin Towers.
The whole aim of our ceremony, we just want to dedicate this day to those who fell. We want to honor them and respect them, their loss, their senseless murder. And we want to remember the heroes of that day as well, the first responders.
Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander suggests schools start each day with the pledge +3 as a way to remember September 11th. What does that mean? Well, after saying the pledge, he says teachers and students should share for 3 minutes what it means to be an American. In Chickamauga, dozens are sporting the red, white, and blue today, especially at Anchor Services. That's an organization that provides day services for developmentally disabled adults. Today, they honored emergency responders with good food and patriotic music from the Gordon Lee High School Band. Those who are part of Anchor Services say they were personally touched by what happened 11 years ago.
A lot of the individuals were actually here in this building on the day that on 9/11 when the terrorist attacks happened. And so they remember all those events, and we were watching the news and everybody was upset and we're crying, and we talked about it for a long time afterwards, and today was just a really good time to remember that day.
And organizers hope to make this an annual event in Chickamauga.
Now, your Storm Team 12 24-hour forecast.
Still quite nice out there outside right now. I don't see a whole lot of change as we head through the midweek. Hey, no complaints there. Here's a look at some of the numbers. Still around 80, 81 degrees through next hour, but overnight lows will be comfortable again, upper 50s to near 60, with more sunshine and dry weather tomorrow back into the lower 80s.
Coming up next, we'll highlight our first Golden Apple Award-winning teacher of the school year.
Also, find out how you can nominate a special teacher in your life.
Go wild at the Chattanooga Zoo during the 8th annual Go Fest celebration. It's free. I'm John Mercer, WDEF News 12. Come celebrate people of all abilities and join us Saturday, October 6th from 10 to 3 at the Chattanooga Zoo, where your family can see their favorite zoo animals, experience the Touch a Truck exhibits, watch service dog demonstrations, and enjoy live music. Visit GoFestChattanooga.org for details and help make Chattanooga more accessible for all. Go Fest, October 6th at the Chattanooga Zoo. Thanks, Nagalia.
If you're on Medicare or will be soon, HealthSpring has important information you need regarding the upcoming annual enrollment period. The annual enrollment period is the one time of year most people with Medicare can join or change health plans.